Damn! That's like that. Who wouldn't play as Widowmaker? Get him. What's up, everybody? Master Chief here. Another video. A couple things on my mind I wanted to talk about. One being mid-gen refresh. I think we're kind of seeing a new age of that. It's been on my mind with the Xbox One X. I am a pro owner, and I've had this discussion with various people. Thought we'd talk about it. In Xbox Game Pass, I've had a chance to try it out. I've had it for, I think, 2 weeks now. Shout out to Drell, my boy, cool motherfucker, hooking that up. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on that. So let's hop right into it. We'll talk about Game Pass first. Is it good? It's good. Is it for everybody? No. Comments I've seen made 100 times, oh, it's great for maybe a young kid getting an Xbox, and the parents just, wanted to give them a big library right off the bat without dropping a ton of money, let them play games. Of course, that's definitely a plus. That might be the biggest plus for what Game Pass offers. But for gamers like me, I own I own tons of games. Most of the games that I want, I already own, and paying $10 a month to add a shit ton of games in my library that is already a nightmare when it comes to backlog is just not feasible for gamers. Well, at least not for me, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people in the same situation where it just doesn't make sense to add another 100 games on top of the 100 games that are already in our backlogs and pay to store them there. But I did find value in this, actually really good value, and I'd recommend this to other gamers, is to go in there and get a month of Game Pass. What I've been doing is I've just been going through that library, and I know what kind of titles interest me, and I've been kind of going through there and finding gems that I want to add to my library, keep in my library forever. I know there's gamers like me who really take pride in their library. I like to preserve my gaming history with my favorite games, keep them with me at all times. I go back and play games like, Reach is one of my favorite back compat games. It was one of my favorite Halo multiplayer games. It's a game that I constantly revisit, and I love to have in my library with me for hopefully as long as I'm a gamer, hoping back compat stays that long. But that's where I find value in this. Like, today I was going through fighting titles, and I was blown away how good these games were. I mean, it's been so long since I really experienced these games on the 360. What I had pictured in my head wasn't exactly what I played. I mean, these games are still gorgeous. Virtual Fighter 5, Tekken Tag, they play beautifully. They're just as fun as current fighting games. They're that fucking good. And that's where I found value in this. I'm going back and just finding these gems that I'd forgotten about for whatever reason. Maybe just a last-gen stigma, because I look at games like Halo Reach, it's not the prettiest game. It's a 30 FPS multiplayer shooter. It's juddery, but it's tons of fun. And then I go and play these fighting games, and they literally look like current gen games. And I'm going to continue to do this process until my pass runs out, and make a list of games that I will add to my library forever. And that's really where I find value in this. It's not bad. I mean, and you get a 20% discount on these games while you have Game Pass if you want to purchase them fully. So it's really a dope ass deal. I mean, I don't know if everybody kind of takes pride in that like I do with my library and gaming history and all that, but for me, that's where I found great value in this. I'll have these games forever. Fighting games are perfect for me. They're great games you hop in with your buddies and talk shit, whoop their ass, all that stuff, and it's even better with these old titles, because these are all the games we grew up on. Um, we vaguely remember, but we still remember the moves a little bit. And it's just going to be something now that will stay in my gaming library forever. And hat goes off to Game Pass and Drell for hooking that up. So that's where I find value in Game Pass. Um, if you kind of value that library and history of your gaming history, I highly suggest just hopping in there for a month and checking out the games, man. Checking out, blow through as many as you can. Don't have to play the whole thing. It's usually in 15, 20 minutes if it's your kind of game. So just go in there, make a list, and add to that library, bruh. Well, let's move on to our next topic, and that is mid-gen refresh. So let's hop right into it. Um, for gamers, it's nothing that we're not accustomed to. I mean, this has been done in the past. Usually, there's small incremental improvements throughout a generation. If it's large hard drive space, a cheaper revision to maybe get the existing player base to reinvest in that second console for the other TV room or the kid or whatever. Aesthetically, maybe just making it more pleasing. Like the Xbox One S, you have 4K Blu-ray playback, adding HDR support. It's just those small improvements, reinvigorate, get existing player bases to reinvest and get those that are still on the last gen to make that leap into the current gen. I think that's kind of been the roadmap for mid-gen refreshes in the past. But things have changed a little bit. Both Sony and Microsoft went the route of power for their mid-gen upgrades. The PS4 Pro releasing last November, and the Xbox One X, I hate that name, the Xbox One Scorpio coming out this coming up November, both going the power route. And why did they do that? I think it has a lot to do with 4K technology and also the price of their hardware. I think they both wanted to be on the forefront of this 4K technology that's really kind of taking over the mainstream. Like if you go to retailers around my house, 95% of the TVs being sold are 4K TVs. The other 5% are 1080p 2015 models that are clearance to sell for practically nothing. Nobody's bringing in new 1080p TVs. The retail shift has gone completely 4K, and I think these companies know that, and they are trying to be on the forefront. And I think the price of hardware really allowed them to consider and do this, uh, and give us the power or an actual improvement in our games, or at least visual quality, uh, for a mid-gen refresh instead of you know the typical um, the typical refresh that we're used to. So, is this for everybody? Well, nothing's for everybody. I think it's all personal choice. I think people have a number of things to consider. What kind of TV do they have? Uh, your budget. How much do you game? How much are you willing to invest compared to how much time you actually, play. For someone like me who plays a ton, and I'm a sucker for this. I had the S and the Pro, mid-gen out, uh, but I will be getting the X also. I think it makes sense. I mean, it's a hobby I spend so much time doing. It's really not that big of an investment for me, considering how much time I put into it. But I mean, it's not necessary. I mean, both companies did this right to where, it's one game that's going to play across all the iterations. If it's the PS4, the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One, or the Xbox Scorpio. Uh, I think they really did it smart in that way. So no, it's not necessary. I think it's all personal preference. Um, some people some people love it. I think for me, I'd rather get a power increase or some kind of tangible improvement over the existing format of mid-gen. Refresh. Uh, some people have said, well, why not just move to why aren't they just moving to the next gen completely? I don't think either console maker has incentive to do that. I think the PS4 is, as everybody knows, it's a complete juggernaut. I think Xbox is getting in there and wanting to leave its footprint on this generation also. Um, a lot of games still come out this gen. I mean, generations are defined by franchises. You look as there whew, 3 Uncharted games on the PS3, and you're looking at 4 Halo games on the 360, 2 mainline, and then you have ODST and Reach. And you know, we're 4 years in, almost 4 years in this gen. We've had 1 Uncharted and 1 Halo. I think that's correct. Leave a comment if I'm making shit up. I may be making shit up, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. 3 Uncharted's, and I know there was 4 Halos, not counting Halo Wars. 5 Halos. Damn. Milk is like that game's the best ever, but you know, personal choice. It's personal choice when it comes to the end of the day, and I mean, we're given the choice by both console makers. That's why the games still run on the old hardware when it comes down to it. So that's all I got for you today. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, smack that like button or sub, or don't, because who knows when the next time I'll actually make another video is. Nobody knows. But until that time, keep playing them games, and I'm out.